welcome back to another video of Cooking with Alethea. Today is the first part of my series of getting ready with me for Thanksgiving, for our Thanksgiving meal. And at my house, Thanksgiving is like Christmas at my house because basically I make what like everybody likes to eat. So I'm cooking like days in advance basically. But anyway, it's a joy and it's a labor of love, and of course, yes, I'll be dead tired, but it's a labor of love. So anyway, I'm doing a series. This is day one of it. I'm going to show you how I make my collard greens. Now, thankfully, we're blessed to be living in the country part of where we live at, and sort of, and we live near a farm, so I'm very grateful for that. So I get our collard greens from our local farm here. And I wanted to show you how I do the process of my greens. This is one of the batches of collard greens here. We get like, basically get like a whole large trash bag full of greens. And I bring them home and then I cut them off the stalks here. I cut them individually off the stalks. And they're big leaves like you see here. And what I do is I take them in a bunch, right? And then I roll them up. Roll them up like you're rolling, I don't know, like a cigar. I don't smoke, but that's how they do it. I've seen on TV. And then what I do is I take a knife and then I just cut it in thin pieces across like that. So it looks like a spiral shape type of thing. Look like it could be an hors d'oeuvre. So I do it all like that. And then once I do that, I'll show you what I do next. When I get down to the stalks, I usually don't put the stalks in. And then what I do is I take these greens here and I put them in my sink of water. It's all clean. Sink of water, and then I start with the next batch. I'm going to do a couple of these to show you. And then I'm going to show you my next step, the process step for the greens here. This year, I'm going to be doing something different. Since we have a lot of greens this year that I got, I'm going to cook them and I'm going to freeze them in Ziploc bags so that we can be eating off of greens, you know, throughout the year and into next year possibly. Also, I'm going to be making different variations of greens. Some will have bacon in them. I usually don't put bacon in my greens, but I'm going to do a variation this year of how I make my greens. Some will have bacon and some will have just the plain chicken broth and garlic and the other seasonings that I use. Also, I'm going to be trying something different. One batch of my greens that I'm going to make, I'm going to put in the crock pot. So I never did that before, and I never, you know, on YouTube, I know it's out there. I'll be experimenting with making my greens one batch in the crock pot. So I will have to let you know how that turned out. But like I said, you know, this is day one of preparation for Thanksgiving. So you're going to be with me up until Thanksgiving. So this is the last batch that I'm doing right now. And then I'm going to move on to the next step for you guys so you guys can see. I already went ahead and have another... I made one pot of greens already, so that's still cooking. I'm going to show you guys how that's turning out. But see, this was all one head of collard greens there. And I cleaned this in lukewarm water. I washed this about 3 to 4 times. So you get that real good, but I'm going to show you guys the next step in the process of cooking collard greens. So after I, you know, wash these greens about 3 or 4 times, I put it in my salad spinner and you know, I let that sit in there. Okay, so after I wash my greens about 3 or 4 times, I put it in my salad spinner, and then I spin them, you know, to get some of the water off. And then after that, I will take them over here to the next station, which is, before I do that, I want to show you guys what I use for these greens today. I have chicken broth. I have some bacon that I have went ahead and fried, and then I cut into small pieces, okay? I have some onion powder, garlic powder, adobo. I have a little cayenne pepper, and also some hot sauce. And I cook my greens also in a little canola oil. Now, my mother, I learned all this from my mom. All the cooking that I know how to do, I learned from my parents. My mom and my dad used to cook all the time, especially on holidays. They both would be in the kitchen. But my mom, I had asked her one time when I was coming up, I said, how do you make your greens taste so good? Because they taste like they have meat in them, like they're seasoned with meat and stuff. And she told me the secret ingredient is adding oil to your broth or oil to your water when you're cooking your greens. And that makes the whole difference in the world, and along with your seasonings. So ever since then, that's what I've been doing, and it's been coming out delicious. So I'm going to go ahead and put my cast iron pot. I brought out all my cast iron pots today. And I went ahead and put some bacon grease in here. The grease from the bacon that I fried up earlier. And I'm going to add a little bacon in here on the bottom. Just a little on the bottom, okay? I'm going to put in there some chicken broth. And you can use the low sodium or reduced sodium chicken broth. It's up to you. So, since this is going to be like a big pot of greens, wait, hold on, because this is like squished. Since it's going to be a big pot of greens, you kind of have to eyeball your liquid and stuff. When you start out, you don't want like a whole bunch of liquid, because the greens, as they cook down, they make their own liquid mixed with the liquid that you're putting in here. So this is about enough, and then you're going to add your canola oil. Now, when you add the canola oil, don't be afraid. Don't be like, oh, that's too much, that's too much. It's not. Believe me, it's not. So what I do is, again, I don't have no measurements. I just eyeball it, okay? I use about that much. And I go ahead and I put my seasonings in here, like I said, the adobo, garlic powder, and minced onion. And don't pay my trash can any mind. It has a mind of its own. So that's the garlic, the adobo. And again, your seasonings is to your own liking. You know, it seems like a whole lot in here, but believe me, those greens are going to soak up every bit of these seasonings, and you might have to add a little more as it's cooking. This is the minced onion that I'm putting in here. I was looking for onion powder when I went to the supermarket today, and I could not find it, but I did find minced onion. So I said, let me pick up some of this. It's all going to taste good. Okay, and I have a hot sauce packet. I am not a hot sauce person, so I have some hot sauce packets here. And I'm adding that to my greens. And I can put a little cayenne pepper in here, you know, as it's cooking. So this is the broth part to the greens. Now what I do is I come over here. I get the greens. Uh-oh, one fell. It's okay. No loss. It's all right. And you just put it to your broth. And you put this on medium-high heat. When it starts boiling, you will then take your, you know, fork or cooking utensil and stir it up a little bit and put your lid on it. Turn it down low. You're going to let this cook for about a couple hours. But as it's cooking, you're going to come and you're going to, you know, stir it some more, mix it up some more, and you might have to add a little bit more of your seasonings to it. because like I said, they're like sponges. As they cook down, they will absorb all of the seasoning here. So this is, it's like that. I'm going to put a little bit more bacon on top, the rest of this bacon on top of here. Okay. Now, that looks delicious as is. I can eat this like this as a salad without the liquid. I love this stuff. So I'm going to put on top, I'm going to garnish it with a little bit of garlic powder. Because like I said, I like garlic powder. Maybe you don't like garlic powder, so whatever seasoning you use, just use it. But I grew up on garlic powder, and I grew up on fresh garlic, so that's what I know. So like I said, I'm going to let this boil. And then once it boils, we're going to turn it down to low, and we're going to mix it up. Now here, like I said, I went ahead earlier and made my first pot of greens. This was with 2 heads of the collard greens. And they cooked down to like a half a pot. Now, you see this pot right here? My husband can eat this whole pot. So when he comes home from work, this will be his dinner. This whole pot of greens. Okay? So, yeah, this is for my husband. And this was cooking for about, an hour almost. I'm going to let this cook another hour. But see what I was saying? See how it, the greens, when they boil down, it makes its own liquid mixed with the liquid that you put in here. So, yep. That's how it is. And then like another hour, I will taste it to see where it's at and all. If it's still not tender to my liking, then I might, I'll let it simmer another half hour or so. But I usually let my greens cook for about 2 hours. So like I said, if you like this type of thing, if you like this channel, just consider subscribing. Please subscribe to my channel and give it a thumbs up. And you can leave a comment or two if you want. I love positive comments. Like I said, this is day 1 of Cooking with Alethea, getting ready for Thanksgiving meal. So stay tuned for day 2 for the next step in my preparation for Thanksgiving meal. I will see you next time on Cooking with Alethea. Bye-bye. Have a good day.